Hey guys, hope everybody's well. Still a work in progress. Just anxious to get back on the practice floor right now. We got a lot to improve on. Spent a lot of time in the film room and just trying to get better, trying to get used to playing with each other and in game situations. So, like I said, looking forward to 3:30 when we can get back on the court.
Corey, we'll start with you. Nate Bauer, you're on deck.
Hey, good afternoon, Jim. You talked after the game the other day. You expect to be a team by committee. You have a lot of threats on the floor. What is the secret to get everybody scoring well and playing well in the same game, as opposed to maybe Seth going from 12 to 32 and Jamari going from 18 to 2? How do you get everybody involved all at the same time?
Yeah, good question. But you got to remember there's another team on the court on the other side that's trying to take away stuff. So a lot of that has to get dictated by what they're doing, right? So we put together a game plan, we follow the game plan. And what I mean by a team of committee is that, we do have the ability to still score and still play when opposing teams try to take away, say, an MJ who's at the top of their list, or Jamari had a good game, so they were going to go after Jamari, or they were trying to run and jump Jamari. We were able to move the basketball and the ball can find a shot. And we have the ability to put five guys on the floor that can score. So maybe that's a better clarification what I mean by that. But yes, if we have yet to have all five guys on the court clicking at the same time, and I think that comes with game experience. But for us to go out and win a game like that against a very good VCU team, when MJ and Miles Dredd really didn't have great games. We've all seen these guys play. Obviously, Miles hitting that big shot at the end. I think that says a lot for our team that we have the ability to win a big game when two of your better players didn't play great.
Nate Bauer, you've got the next question. Dave Jones, you're on deck.
Jim, you mentioned from the top film and getting back out on the practice court. What are the things that are most your highest priorities right now?
Defense. Defensively, we really have to tighten things up. I thought we got hurt early in the game with our ball screen defense coverage, not being on a string, not all five guys, guarding is one. And I think that's something that, takes time and takes game experience, especially as you're seeing different offensive possessions, right? You're seeing different offenses attacking your defenses. So with game experience, and that's why it's so important that we play these games leading up to Big Ten play to get ourselves prepared.
Dave Jones, you've got the next question. Ben Jones, you're on deck.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Hey, Dave. How you doing?
You have a very interesting kind of team here. Getting back to Corey's question, you've kind of got an ability for an ensemble cast here. But Seth showed some things here in the last game. And his game is so beautiful. He's got such a great jump shot. He has an ability to score in traffic. And he looked like he was willing to be kind of an alpha dog the way Lamar has been and Tony Carr before. Do you value that kind of guy at all, even when you have all these different guys who can do different things? Does that mean anything to you, or would you rather just have everyone as an equal?
No, absolutely. I mean, the one thing that people might not know about this team, we're a team of competitors. We got a lot of guys that are really competitive and competitors, and that's really important, because when you have competitors, man, it doesn't matter what size you are, it doesn't matter how fast, how slow. That stuff's really important, and that's a skill. And again, I think you saw some maturation for Seth and what he's done in the offseason carrying over. And it's still, coach speak. I'm still like, hey man, can't turn the ball over. You got to defend better. There's things you can still improve on. So, but to answer your question, I mean, yeah, I think it's great that he's starting to take on that personality. But we have a couple of guys like that on our team as well, and guys are going to do it in different ways.
What about as a scorer, purely? If you need a scorer in a certain situation?
Yeah, and I think we talked about that. Seth's the guy that obviously shoots the ball well. We can post him up on some people. He's showing the ability to drive and finish. Where last year he drive and maybe charge or turn the ball over. So I think that's something. And again, a lot of this stuff is going to emerge, over the next couple of weeks as we continue to play games. But to see that out of Seth in game 2 of his sophomore year against a very good opponent, I think it made us all feel good.
Thanks.
Ben Jones, you've got the next question. Corey Geiger, you'll be on deck.
Jim, obviously not having Mike and Lamar and you being in the position that you're in does not speak to continuity, but for the number of guys that you bring back, the staff, for the all intents and purposes is the same. Do you feel like continuity is something that you have to lean on right now? Because it seems like, for all intents and purposes, you're not working too many new guys into big roles right now.
Yes, I always think continuity is very, very important. I think it's very important in your program. I think it's very important in business. I think it's very important in life. And we do have a lot of continuity. I mean, the staff, we've been very close. We have great leadership within our program, guys that have played together, the guys that have a lot of shared experiences, a lot of winning shared experiences, which I think is important because when you lose a guy, when you graduate a guy like Lamar, who's an NBA player, and Mike, who's a pro, you don't fill those spots necessarily with freshmen or transfers. Those are two tremendous basketball players. So you have to fill them in other ways. And our approach is we're filling them with unity, right? We're filling in with the way we play and next man up mentality, but it's not on anyone else's shoulder to do what Lamar has done. And that's obviously something we talk to Seth about, right? Because people talk about him all the time, being like Lamar, playing like Lamar, went to the same high school. Like, we just need Seth to be Seth. And we just need everybody to play their role to a high level. And that's how you can, what do you want to call it, overcome or deal with the graduation of some great players.
Corey Geiger, you've got the next question. Then Nate Bauer, you're on deck.
How would you describe your point guard situation? Jamari was great in the first game. Sam looked like he had the ball most of the time in the second game, and he can do a lot of things driving, as you mentioned the other day. So you play both of them at the same time. How do you see that evolving?
I think it's evolving really well. I mean, it's funny. One of my former assistants, John Rhodes, Corey, I think you know him, called me today, and that was our issue. Our inability to beat VCU while I was at Duquesne was we only had one point guard. Here, we at times had 3 point guards on the floor at the same time to handle their pressure. The ultimate team in my mind is to have 5 point guards on the floor. 1 point guard 7 feet tall, 1 point guard 6'9", 1 6'6", 1 6'5", and 1 6 feet. Then you got a great offensive team. So our ability to have multiple ball handlers, I think, really helped us handle their pressure. And what we're able to do is, all right, Jamari, you start the game with it. They try to wear Jamari down, let's give it to Sam. Sam deal with it. They try to wear Sam down, give it to MJ. Let MJ deal with it. And I think that was the ability of us to win that basketball game when you got guys that can handle the basketball, pass, dribble, and shoot. So I think for us, it's a luxury to have 3 guys that we can really and we have more, believe it or not. I mean, Dallion's an exceptional ball handler as well. He's another guy we put the ball in and play. So I think that's going to help us throughout the year.
Nate, you've got the next question. Peter Terpstra, you're on deck.
Good or bad through the years, it seems like Miles doesn't have much of a memory. He lets the bad slides go and the good as well. Does a shot like that, like, do we read too much into that? Does a kid get a boost off of something like that, particularly Miles?
Shoot, right? Listen, he's a real competitive kid. Comes from a great high school basketball program, great AAU program. He's been in a great program here that's won a ton since he's been here. He's got great confidence. And when he shot that ball, we all thought it was going in. And I'll be perfectly honest with you. Every time Miles shoots the basketball, I think it's going in. I'm surprised when it doesn't go in. And for him to stay locked in, had foul trouble, wasn't really in the flow. And for him to take that shot with such superior confidence, and Jamari to make that pass with superior confidence that he could make that shot. I think it just shows, the development of these guys that have been playing a lot in the program here.
Peter, you've got the next question. Dave Jones, you're back on deck.
Hey, Coach. I just want to ask you, how unique is it that the men's program is able to win on a buzzer beater and then the women's program is able to win on a buzzer beater back-to-back days?
I guess it's pretty unique. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's great. Awesome for the Lady Lions. That's tremendous. I actually saw a tweet late last night from the Lady Lions pointing right back at us, which I thought was pretty cool. So, hey, listen, our teams are really close, and we really root for them, and they root for us, and it's great. It's great. The old saying, "Kill them by one," right? So if that's what it takes, do it. Let's all do it. So that was a great victory for them last night.
Dave Jones, you've got the next question. Ben Jones will come back to you, and you'll be on deck, and then Corey, and that'll wrap up today.
You look happy, Jim. What do you like about being a head coach?
Well, turn me inside out. I don't know if you'll say I look as happy as I am right now. It's, you know what? It's there's no difference. I'm a coach. You know what I mean? That's what I was my whole career. I just happened to be a head coach for a long time. And even when Pat offered me the job here, like I didn't necessarily have to work, but I'm a basketball coach. So I wanted to coach. And whether you're an assistant or a head coach, like I kind of look at it like we all work together and we all just have different roles. It's not necessarily, all right, he's the head coach, he's working for him. It's not. Everybody kind of works together. I'm happy because we just won 2 games. You know what I mean? I'm happy because we get to practice. We get to get on the court today. I'm happy because we're really lucky that I'm coaching basketball right now in the middle of a pandemic. So maybe that's why I look like I'm happy. If we lose 2 games and you still say I'm happy, then maybe I figured it out. So we'll see.
Ben, you've got the next question. Corey Geiger, you'll have the last question for today's session, and we'll let Coach get to his practice planning.
Jim, what's sort of the plan for Trent? Because it seems like he's going to go from not playing a whole lot to, hey, here's Luka Garza, best of luck to you. How do you kind of get him ready for what's down the road at the same time, sort of acknowledging that, some of this is new for him at this level?
Yeah, it's, you got to throw him in the fire. I mean, it's Trent's a good basketball player. He's a big dude and he's a tough kid and he's a competitor. It's just, he was playing behind Lamar and Mike. Like, I don't know how many people in this country were going to get on the court with that. And he's been resilient and now he's getting this opportunity. And I think that's what he's experiencing and that's what we're doing. Like, hey man, we're going to play him at the 4. We're going to play him at the 5. Same with Abdu. Abdu, he's going to, start seeing some minutes here. He deserves it. And, our game Sunday night is against one of the biggest teams in college basketball. I think they're the 3rd tallest team in college basketball. So our guys going to be put to the test, especially in the front court, which again, hopefully will prepare us for the likes of Luka Garza, for the likes of Illinois and Michigan and the Big Ten. Big Ten is a big league. We have the ability to go big and we have the ability to go small, and that's what we're going to figure out.
Corey, you've got the last question for today.
That's actually exactly what I was going to talk to you about, is going up against these big teams. Luka had 30 points in the first half last night. You have a lot of really athletic guard, wingy kind of guys. How do you plan to match up when you start facing off against some of these bigger guys? Well,
we're going to figure that out. I mean, I could sit here and tell you I got the plan right now. It's perfect. And then, like Mike Tyson says, you get punched in the mouth, you got to figure it out fast, right? So that's why we're playing these games. Like, our schedule, you look at our schedule we have in front of us, it's some of the best in the country. And that's what we need because our league is the best in the country. So we're going to find a lot out about ourselves on Sunday when we play against a very big and physical and tough Seton Hall team. I think that's one of the closest comparisons to what it's like in the Big Ten. And then we're going to just, we got to figure it out, but we can't stray too far from who we are too, right? Like they have to match up to us and the way we do things as well. So I think that's kind of the balance that we have to figure out over the next couple of weeks as we start heading into Big Ten play.